Good evening, Nancy. Good afternoon,
Hello
Joshua
there.
and
I'm so
Mariel.
excited for this episode.
Yes, and good afternoon to everybody watching on the live stream and watching on the replay. I've always wanted to talk to the people behind Nord Park, no? Kasi ever since we started in the industry, or actually nung wala pa ako sa industry, we love Nord Park. It's our late night cravings. Manonood ka ng movie or theater, usually. Nord Park, kahit na mga 10 p.m. or after an event, diba? After a wedding, ganyan, I remember. So we have a lot of memories, and I've always wanted to know the story behind North Park or the DNA of the people behind it. And
Yeah.
we have the third generation soon of the Soon family, Raphael Joshua Soon and Mariel Soon of
Yes.
North Park, and we'll be talking to them. And my name is Anton Diaz, founder of Our Awesome Planet, together with the Nancy Reyes Lumen, streaming live from Houston, Texas. We're awesome live with the next generation of North Park. Can you do a short clip? Short clip. Alright, tama-tama. Nancy, ang sarap-sarap nitong North Park.
Oh,
We
yeah.
always, throughout the years, and even throughout the pandemic, no? Even the pandemic cannot stop them. So, maybe you could introduce them, Nance?
Actually, kumulo yung tiyan ko. I really
Wala.
miss that. I especially miss the Binondo Mommy. But seeing Anton, I'm seeing these two young executives. They were really pre-teens when we would still be with them, because their dads were our friends, almost family. I think family na, hindi almost. And
Oo.
seeing them now, and seeing what they went through. Ang daming dinaanan ng North Park, pero andun pa rin. So I would like you to meet, first of all, si Raphael, the namesake of his father Paeng. This is Joshua, and he's graduating this next week for
Yes
law.
po.
Imagine.
Oo nga,
Lawyer
imagine.
na.
Yep.
You make your mom so happy. And then we have Mariel, a very shy little girl before, who's now the marketing manager of the whole network of North Park and all the other branches. So they are the SOON family, third generation, and we're talking about succession.
Oo. Maybe just to start off, Joshua and Mariel, maybe you can give us a background for North. Gano'n na ba katagal talaga? Normal, parang tagal na kasi. Tsaka how many branches? And then what do you do in the company?
Mariel.
Sure. We started North Park September of 1994. So we've been around for 28 years na.
Wow.
Now we have over 40 branches over Metro Manila and nearby provinces. Um, Syempre, they all serve comfort food na yung sanay na tayo na comfort food na alam natin. And then
So in terms of Chinese, that's Cantonese ba? Or different kind of, how would you
um
describe the Chinese?
I think it's more of Chinoy na. It's Chinese food tapos nahaluan na siya nung Pinoy flavors. So
Tama.
it's really catered
Tama.
to the Pinoy taste.
O, kaya
Okay.
masarap palagi pa rin.
Oo,
Okay.
kaya
Yeah.
click sa lahat eh. Kuha lahat eh. May authentic Chinese, meron din Pinoy. Okay, continue, Mariel.
And then me, I do marketing, I do business development also for North Park. Yun.
Yeah, and for me, well, I'm a student, right? I was a student then, so I was never really part of the day-to-day operations or the day-to-day work. But I've been helping out through my own, like in my own ways and in my own time. So recently, what I've been working on, or my parang personal project with North Park, is specifically Lotus Bar. So that's a bar in Makati Ave. So that's what I'm. That's kind of like my baby, so to speak. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, where were you when 28 years na si North Park? How did you start? How did you how did you get thrown into the ring of competition?
Mm. How North Park started, Tita Nancy, or how
Well,
we.
maybe for the sake of Anton, kasi ako, Anton, I'm probably 3 generations older than North Park, and I've met them even before nung nasa Wilson.
Talaga.
In other words, matanda na ako. Parang mga ano ko na yan.
Yeah.
Hindi naman.
And Joshua, we started this show nga to bridge that gap din eh,
Yes.
para to introduce the brands to the next generation. Maybe you can, yeah. Paano ba nagsimula?
Okay, so North Park started actually with my. It was like a dream of my grandfather, so si Angkong. So it was him, his ideas, and so they weren't able to execute it because my Angkong had a um he had a heart attack at that time, so he wasn't able to really push for it as much as he wanted to. But when my dad and Dipe came when they came back home from working abroad, they were able to kind of
Continue.
continue that dream, and now that dream has turned into North Park, that we know today. So it's always been kind of like a passion project in a way from our family. So it's always been parang yun nga, it's really been a family business, and it's not just a family business of like it was really a family dream turned into reality. So that's how I would describe North Park to us.
So where's the flagship, kumbaga, or the original branch? Or is there an original branch?
The very first branch we had was in Wilson. And then we moved kasi nasunog kami doon. So we moved to P. Guevara.
Yeah.
So if we're talking of parang which branch is the oldest, it's probably Makati Ave.
Yeah. The one
Yeah.
in Makati.
Yes, oo, Makati Ave na yung memories ko ng ano eh. 1994, I graduated from ano yan, from university.
Talaga.
And naalala ko na sa oo nga, sa Makati Ave. So that's the oldest. Okay.
All right. And then, okay. How did you, kailan ba how did North Park grow? The first branch and then onto the next one. What brought that about?
Mm. So, well, we weren't there then, but how we kind of figured it out is, well, my dad and it was like really a family effort. This was actually parang in a way like a childhood story of ours na rin. Parang every day, the whole family would be there. Angkong, ama, so Deepa, my uncle, and my dad, everyone was there. The whole family was there. Everyone would be helping out each other. Everyone's just so. For example, like my dad, Deepa, Angkong would be in the kitchen. Sometimes my dad would go out to greet the guests, or my uncle, and then Ama would be the ones serving the guests, talking to the guests. Si
Yeah.
Ama, I'm sure you know Tita Nancy, sobrang machika, like super friendly with everyone.
Yes.
So lagi niyan chinichika lahat. And I guess that's kind of what kind of propelled North Park, because it was it never felt like, well, the way we kind of take it is it never felt like just a restaurant. It felt more like you going to a friend's house, you going to a family's house and just having dinner there and talking with everyone there. So parang in the essence, like my grandma made it like a home for everyone who was always
Wow.
going to us.
Yeah. May I add to that? I think what you're trying to say is yung Pinoy style ng culture na
Mhm.
nasali, it
Yes.
got included into the culture of the North
Yes.
Park culture. The culinary
Yes.
DNA was
Yes. Exactly.
yeah, kasi ama would parang ano, I remember my lola, she would really be actually Anton, you would see the whole family there na kumakain din sila doon, nakikiusap, and as just what Joshua would be saying. So that added to the reality ng North Park. It was not just a restaurant, as he said. It's a comfort place. Okay. Mariel.
Yes, to add to that, Tita, I think in addition to that, no, the food that we serve, parang everything is from the heart. We don't parang, oh, ito, maganda to, kikita to, or uso to. Parang we base the food na parang, it's something that we will like. So it's something that we want to share with everybody else. And then the same goes with the ambiance of the stores, na parang, syempre gusto mo very welcoming. It like the way you would sa sarili mong bahay. Very welcoming, very attracting sa mga tao, ganon.
Okay. Alright. So, paano yun kung let's say gusto nyo yung very very generous, paano? Sino nagbabantay sa food cost? I think,
Problema yun ni
ang
Ma'am.
secret yun nun, hindi ba dapat hindi masyadong malaki yung margin nyo? It's more of giving a lot. And see, it
Ganun
Yes.
ba? Ganun ba?
Mm.
sabihin,
Oo, we don't, minsan kasi there are opportunities that are presented to us na parang, uy, okay to, pwede kang kumita ng malaki. But parang sa amin, parang, it's not yung malaking kita ang yes mo. It's parang, can you make people happy with this thing? And if the answer is yes, then it's yes, regardless of yung kikitain. So if you'll notice, kunwari yung food namin, it's very big. Medyo may busog ka na, may take out ka pa, ganon. Yun, it's really the value for money that we're going for.
okay. And the recipes are original with the David Tan, with si Angko.
Oo.
Yes.
Or nag-evolve na ba yon? Nag-evolve na ba yun over time? Paano ba? Ano yun?
Well,
Yeah.
in a way, it's always been the recipe of the family, parang ganon. It's never been just it's taken its of course, like we've had like certain innovations and certain improvements, but all has always been like a family decision. Actually, one of a very, I guess, memorable moment for me was actually like when I was, I believe, 6 or 7 years old. Parang my dad would make me try different parang sauces, and those were the sauces that we kind of use today as well. And parang, oh, mas okay ba to? Mas okay ba to? Anong mas masarap? Anong mas naaalala mo? So he would do those things, and then my uncle would do those things, and it's always been like, yun nga, like, so in essence, there's like innovation, of course, to make it better, to make it much more enjoyable for the guests, but it's always been a family like recipe. It's always been a family decision as well.
Okay.
So in terms of like the recipes, yes, it's like family kept recipes, but of course we try to innovate, try to improve as much as we can, just to make sure that it's always kumbaga up to par with
Okay.
how people would want it to, how people would be comforted by it as well.
What are the 5 most popular dishes, Mariel?
Okay. Toast noodles is one. We have asado siopaw, salted garlic squid,
Yes.
Uh-huh.
and then
Yang chow fried rice.
yang chow fried rice, yes,
And China chicken.
and China chicken.
Padala nyo na rito. Okay, ano yan? That's made, talagang homemade yan. Hindi yung siopaw na bibilihin nyo somewhere. Tapos,
Oo.
I know, no, ano talaga to, everything that we serve, the noodles, the siomai, the siopaw, everything na we serve is all handmade, homemade.
so we go
And
now
then,
to the, syempre may
Yes.
commissary kayo. Who's behind the commissary?
we have our own commissary team na ano yun, syempre in charge of everything na with the quality assurance and the production.
Okay.
We
So-
have siopaw that is handmade. We also have siopaw that is machine made.
All right. The question is, how did you move from being a family to a corporation, na may structure na? Kasi alam ko noon yung North Park was talagang family affair, tulungan. syempre magiging na kayong you're going to cross into the corporate ano na
Mhm.
field zone. Tapos how did how did that make you expand? Ang bilis eh. There was a time na talagang sunod-sunod ang mga expansion nyo eh.
Yes.
Well, yun nga, going back to what we were saying a while ago, we wanted to share that like feeling of comfort, feeling of home with people. Um, I guess I wasn't so aware of how it happened because I wasn't even born, or I was probably like 2 or 3 years old then. So super bata pa ako noon. But the way I heard it from my family was yun nga, parang my dad and my mom, parang my dad was really more into the cooking side, more into like how to
Mm.
make the guests happy. My mom was, kumbaga, helping him achieve those goals, and at the same time trying to find ways to, because my dad always wants to share it with people. Like mahilig yung dad ko as in magluto for people. I mean like ako rin, mahilig ako magluto for people. So it was like, how then do we get this to everyone? Because parang the first North Park, naririnig na rin niya, parang people would love it. So he wanted to make sure that people would get it as, parang it wouldn't be as hard for example, like, yun nga, first branch was in Wilson, parang kawawa naman those in Makati, parang mahirap pa yung travel time nila. So that's when we started opening. So yun nga, parang the Makati Ave branch is one of our oldest, if not the oldest branch right now. And then so we started spreading out that way na to help everyone, like to get North Park to everyone.
In terms of the structure naman, I think as with any other company, nag-start kami with parang konting trial and error, which style works for us. Tapos parang, oh, okay to, pero hindi okay to. Sige, palit tayo, palit. Hanggang nahanap namin yung structure na really works for us. Na it's a structure that holds everybody accountable. So
Okay.
parang napupush din everybody and nai-inspire everybody to contribute to the growth of the company.
Sino ang big boss now? Who do you answer to?
Oo.
Uncle Gab.
Yung job, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, but he delegates a lot of things to you na you would
Yes.
have your own.
He he's very how do you say this? He's very open with our ideas. He's like, for example, yun nga, parang ako na, I guess I wanted my own like stamp on like North Park and everything. So parang Lotus Bar, parang he never really micromanaged us. Like it was actually like my project with Ate Mariel. So like Ate Mariel's actually like part of the entire process as well. So, parang kumbaga I'm the creatives, she's handling pretty much everything else. So ako lang yung parang ito yung okay. And then si Deepe, si Uncle Gab, he was always like, go lang, do what you want, like kung ano yung okay. And then like whenever we need advice from him, whenever we need help from him, he's always there. So sobrang yun nga, parang he delegates the task, but he's not like the leader na he's a leader who leads parang through his actions, through his words, but he doesn't let you, parang he doesn't like control what you're going to do. Parang we never felt like a tool. We felt more like we were allowed to have our own decision. We were allowed to have our own say. And he
That's
was
good.
always like, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, pwede yan. Yeah, pwede yan. Or how about look at it in this way? So he was always like that. So it was always like, kumbaga, in a way, like he was a great leader for me because yun nga, we never felt like tools. We felt more like we're allowed to work, parang ganun, or we're allowed to have our own stand.
Okay. I have a question for Mariel, no? And I'll talk. I have a question on Lotus Bar also. But for Mariel, kasi for a lot of the heritage brands, yung mga matatagal na brands, it's usually the old people, di ba? Or those who grew up with it ang patronize ng place.
Yes.
How were you able to introduce that to the young generation ba? Or are the young generation embracing North Park? Parang the
Yes.
culture of North Park? Or paano? How were you guys able to transcend to the younger generation?
Okay. I think it's because parang kunwari, nasanay sila to eat in North Park as a family growing up. So, sila rin growing up, parang yung cravings nila nagsiswitch from the usual, pizza or ano to, parang
Oo.
gusto ko ng mommy. So, I think yun nadadala rin nila yon with their friends and their now families. So, we see a lot of kids now pumapasok sa store, and it's the cute kids na parang, mommy, gusto ko ng siopaw. Na parang, okay. Parang I never
Parang
really
kayo nung maliit. Ganyan
Oo.
kayo nung maliit. I remember.
Parang, or uupo pa lang sila sa table, siopaw, may gumagano ng kids. Na parang, it's cute. Na parang, okay, parang nabibigay namin the message that we want to the kids. And then sila rin, gusto nila yung food na we give to them. Yun. I think a lot of it, a big part of it is yung parang sanay sila kumain sa North Park as a family. And now we're moving to kumakain sila sa North Park as friend, as barkada, after nilang mag-basketball, after nilang mag whatever activities nila, or most especially after nilang mag-inuman. Parang out tayo, pababa muna tayo ng tama, ganyan.
And then follow-up question to that. Ano ba ang North Park ba is 24/7 or open late night? Is that strategic for the brand ba? The late night cravings.
Okay. We do a lot of siguro I think half of our branches, not half, basta a big chunk of it naka 24/7. Mainly because we do get a lot of customers na they have yung parang midnight cravings or early morning cravings. And then meron din yung parang kunwari alanganin yung flight niya out or something. Kain muna tayo. And it's very very good kasi na parang it's na ano ba? Paano ko ba sasabihin to? Nakikilala kami as a brand that you can count on, na anytime you want it, andyan kami. Anything you need at whatever time, okay, sige, we'll serve it to you. Ganon.
No.
Wow. And that's just hard, no? Kasi there's a lot of those brands na who did not survive, no, throughout that.
Yeah.
But we will talk about the pandemic in a while. But to Joshua, no, yung Lotus Bar, I know you guys had Tiananmen Bar before, and parang that area. And how did it? What's the difference? What's the maybe you could describe what's the concept of Lotus Bar and what makes it different? Kasi you're doing this for 2022 and beyond.
Yes,
it's not anymore pre-pandemic. The Pobla of pre-pandemic, diba? Maybe you can share with us the concept.
Okay, so I guess what I wanted for Lotus Bar and my idea for Lotus Bar is like it's a Chinese bar per se, like similar to Tiananmen but more modern in a way. It's not the typical bar where like parang it's like more of a place where you can drink, sit down, talk with people. Similar in a way to a speakeasy, but not really, because in a speakeasy it's much more private, much more. Ours naman, it's much more welcoming. So it's taking my idea of it was taking the positives of certain aspects of a bar, of a speakeasy, of like a club, parang ganon, and putting it all together for Lotus. So something that would, like, I guess in a way be parang yun nga, you can hang out with friends there. You can also really like enjoy with your friends there. And parang my idea for it was more of like that, the hangout spot where you can do whatever you want. So you can just really like, if you want to sit down and have a beer, you can. You want to take someone out on a date, you can. You want to have a party there with your friends, you can. So it's really a place I wanted to be like, yun nga, for everybody and anyone who wants to have fun. It's available for you. So
not
separate pa yung bar chow niyan? May bar chow menu or it's the North Park menu?
Yes, there is a bar chow menu. And And then there, of course, there are the North Park favorites pa rin for like especially drinking. My personal favorite, yung Pinsec Frito, it's still there. I had to make sure it was there. And then of course we have our own bar chow then there. So a little bit of some innovations with regard to our products as well. So for example, we serve like a lechon Macau sisig, something like that. So we
Mm.
try to, of course, continue the Chinoy bar chow in a way. So ayun, lechon Macau sisig, tokot baboy, pero it's like with more Chinese flavors. So it's really trying to be that yun nga, trying to really capture um the Chinoy like aspect of our brand talaga.
Okay.
So it's that, yeah.
All right.
Okay, Nance?
Yeah. We go now to succession, but I have a very sensitive question, and
Mhm.
I think okay naman kasi I'm like family to you. When both actually Anton, both their dads died within a short span. So talagang it was very difficult for their grandparents and for themselves. Okay. From then on, nung when they passed, how long before you recovered in your grieving, when you realize you have to now face the music and face the business and get into it?
Mhm. So, would you want to start?
Okay, sige, ako na. My dad, when my dad passed, I was graduating college. So I
Yeah.
think it was, and then I joined North Park shortly after graduation. So
Yeah.
I think the time, siguro may parang a year din since, no? I think it was, sa akin, the grieving process was, keep myself busy kasi I can't, parang I can't keep digging this grave na parang mahihirapan din naman ako to get out of. So, it's parang keep busy. It's parang kahit naman na he passed na, it's parang I have to do what I know will make him proud. Yun. And then, yun.
So
No,
for me,
kasi, wait, before Joshua answers, kasi sometimes in corporations, when let's say the first managers pass on, either the family will discuss, are we going to hire professional managers or are we going to pass it on to the family? Di ba? Sa inyo, it became natural for you na it flowed down to you. Ganun ba yon? Okay.
Medyo.
medyo in a way.
Medyo.
Okay. Sige, Josh, ikaw.
Well, okay. So, dito, for me naman, well, for me, nung time na yun, na too, because my uncle passed away first, then my dad. So, mas sudden, her dad, si Uncle Michael, si Ape, versus my dad. My dad was, so, parang mas nauna si Uncle Michael, but we found out much later than my dad's sickness naman.
Yeah.
So, how I handled naman, so, siyempre, like, um, ako din naman, I was graduating high school then. So, how I managed was really, like, yun nga, I couldn't really work yet because I was still going into college then. So, what I focused on was really trying to keep the dream alive in a way because we've always, as in when I was younger pa lang, the dream was always for me to get to law school, for me to really finish schooling well, and then eventually and hopefully take over. So my idea rin of how I wanted was really to work hard in school, was really to help out in my own way. So things I hear, things I learn sa internet. I mean, like, I guess we're in the more modern generation, like, mas kumbaga in touch kami with the new technologies and stuff like that. So kung may masasabi ako, I try to share to my mom. So in a way, it was kind of like keep busy, but more of in my head, parang I promised you this, I will get this done, and yun. So I promised them I'll finish law school, and I guess now I guess I'm done.
Yes.
So yun, so it was more of a promise for me that I promised to keep, and now I kept that all these years. So about
Alright.
about 9, 8 years na.
Okay.
Since
So
then.
you did not have any desire to work in any other establishment. Wala, talagang naging nag-flow in na kayo. Ganun ba yun?
Uh, yeah, it's I guess like in my experience with regard to my friends as well, parang mas different siya because I've met a lot of I guess like growing up from school sa Chinese like it's a Chinese Filipino school sa Xavier. Um, there it's parang there are people who kind of don't want to or they kind of dread that
Yeah. Oh,
experience.
that,
Parang kumbaga there's a lot of pressure as well kasi parang it's like I have to live up to something and it's kind of scary. Ako naman
Yeah.
parang it's like of course it's still scary but like I want to I guess I embrace that challenge and I want to so I guess fortunate ako na parang I guess I grew up with a mindset na rin na I didn't have to deal with that parang takot in a way but of course it's there but it's not kumbaga I can still move on like I can still take over and I'm actually excited to start working so yun.
You hear a lot of stories na parang horror stories nila na ayokong pumasok sa family business or ano. Pero parang I think
oo.
for us, it's mostly it's an environment that lets us work and play in this
Mm-mm.
at the same time. So
Yes.
parang how it's so how can you say no to
Mm-mm.
that?
Oo nga.
That's very good. Okay. Ano ba?
Maybe we can go to the photos kasi
Yes.
while we're talking about it, this to caption some of the photos.
But may I say na
That
the culture of very positive vibes sila from the angko and si ama to
uh,
Paeng and to Michael, the whole family. Positive talaga. So nalipat yung culture. Kasi hindi ba
uh,
usually pag mas bata, ayoko, rebelde. Pero sila, they absorb the culture. Kasi bata pa, ando na eh. Ando na, it was set in place already. So I just
pero
wanted
ano ba yun? No, I have a question to that. Kasi nga, a lot of the young kids don't want to follow their
yeah.
parents' work, di ba? In your case ba, parang sinasabihan na kayo, oh, guys, you'll work in this business, ganyan. Or is it more, wala lang, parang you're naturally just being involved? Paano ba? At least for the parents out there
Yeah.
who
Yes.
wanted their son to follow
No,
their...
Ako hindi.
yeah, parang we were never like for me I was actually given a choice because like I mean I'm in like I
Talaga.
graduated law school so I'm allowed like honestly parang my parent like both my parents would say like yun nga you don't have to if you don't want to like it's really your decision if you want to join even my uncle would say that to me same with Ati Mariel like
Parang it's there if you want it,
yeah
go for it. But if not, parang okay, go
yeah
do your thing. It's
so
fine.
we're fortunate enough to be in the Chinese family na parang hindi looked down upon yung kung ano yung gagawin mo beyond the family
Oo.
business. Like I guess it's a common thing na parang oh if you go into the arts, if you go into music, it's not really that kumbaga like looked at like or respected in a way but sa family naman like you're free to do whatever you want just as long as you like
As long as it makes you happy.
yeah and like as long as yun nga parang there are values that are taught to us and those are the key values that we have to live by and
Galing.
like working to the family business is not a key value for us it's really like in nga like god fearing respect for parents respect for the family like those stuffs like humility like those are really what's taught to us not parang oh ito yung family business dito ka kasi dito yung may pera never like that so
Yeah.
we were always I guess that's why maybe there's a willingness from our end to work also because it was never forced on us.
That's parang I think it's parang it's our want to contribute to the dream na the dream that is North Park na parang it's a family thing ganyan. So yun, I think contribution to the dream also.
Yeah, galing. Okay. That's a good tip. All right, let's go to the photos.
Hello, Paeng. Okay.
Yeah, this is, I forgot how old I was. I think I was like 4 years old. This was 4 years old. So this is I think so Wilson to, no? So Wilson. So yeah, and that is me watching my dad. So I guess I wanted to share this photo kasi in a way, I've always wanted to emulate my dad, and this was one of the earlier instances of me getting to see what he was doing. So he'd really like, I guess makikita pa natin sa more photos later on na yun nga that emulation that I wanted to recreate. So yeah, that's yun nga, my dad cooking some noodles and me just watching him na amazed, nakataas pa yung kamay kong ganun. So yeah.
I question before anything. Do you make your own noodles? You produce your
Yes.
own na?
Yes.
Very good. Okay.
It's
Next.
all homemade.
So yan, ako rin, yan. Like once again sa Wilson branch, at 4
Ginawa
years
namin siyang janitor.
ginawa akong janitor, pero masayang-masaya ako.
Talaga?
Kitang-kita naman. Yeah. So, I was helping out naman, parang, yun nga, parang this was in the Wilson branch, parang, I think this was, parang everyone was there, just there. So, yun nga, diba the family was helping out, so Ama was there, my mom was there, dad was cooking. Ako, wala rin akong tulong as a waiter, so hindi ko pa kaya buhatin. So, taga-punas na lang ako ng tables, taga-linis nung cabinets, yan, nag-spray ako ng glass namin ngayon. So, yun. And see, no
Galing.
no sad faces, always smiles lang.
Yan ang that was the appeal to the Filipinos and the Chinese families na nakikita nila yung cute at saka very wholesome, di ba? Kaya
Oo.
nag-click. Actually, that's a big secret among restaurants now eh. By the way, here, I was telling Anton and some of the other interviewers na here in the US, it's important now na when they have a name, they put in there family-owned. And biglang, right away, meron na agad na given na, kung family-owned to, then I might see the father, the mother, or the children, or they work together, or it's wholesome. So you're in the right culture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nice.
So this was a family dinner with friends as well. So yun nga, I think I forgot how old I was. I think I was like 9 or 10 at this point. So parang nagka-family dinner with the chef. So dito I guess mas na-introduce yung culinary side sa akin. So this was in a restaurant in Singapore, our room, I believe. So parang we were able to try like a more modern, more unique way of cooking with regard to the chef. So parang I guess I wanted to show this kasi dito mas na-introduce yung love ko for cooking. This was actually one of my most memorable memories. Because I guess ito yung parang, if you guys remember, yung molecular gastronomy. So they had that.
Yeah.
Yung dessert nila was a frozen cake na parang green matcha cake siya na when you put it in your mouth and blow, parang, alam mo yung parang sa Baguio na magkaka-smoke lang out of nowhere. So parang super naaliw ako doon, and that's where parang I guess the food, like, parang sobrang na-stick sa akin. Besides, of course, the family, but more of like my own, like, na-ignite yung, parang na-ignite yung love ko for cooking
Na-ignite.
at this point.
Yung pala
Even though I
yung
was technically already cooking at that point, na parang I was like, parang toys ko as a kid was really, parang, di ba, everyone had the Hot Wheels, everyone had the, parang ganun, toy ko, legit, pan and parang wooden spoon lang. Tapos naglalaro ako as a kid. Gumaganon-ganon ako kahit walang laman. So yeah, it was one of the photos that kind of ignited my cooking, and then my dad and my dipa is right there sa taas ko. So yeah.
Okay.
So ito, Tita Nancy, I'm sure naaalala mo to.
Ano to? Saan to?
So this was
Parang TikTok challenge to nung time na yun.
This was a cover photo we had for Cook magazine when I was the editor.
So what is it? What is
so
May hinuhuli silang manok.
we were trying to no, parang yung photo was try to catch yung chicken. So yung dito, I guess mas further na ignite yung love ko for cooking kasi this was like if naalala niyo, Tita Nancy, ito parang new versus old kind of cooking na kumbaga nagka-cooking competition of like, ayan, Chef Rox, my dad, my uncle, tapos andyan si Kuya Joey, and then like parang tumutulong ako kay Kuya Joey, parang nagluluto-luto. So nagkaroon ng parang competition between the new chefs and the older chefs, the older generation. So we were cooking there, and then parang syempre as a kid na di man magluto pero tumutulong, mas na-enjoy. Parang wow, parang this is it. Like this is so fun. Like parang I wasn't a kid playing with the parang yun nga, I had an option of playing with my Game Boy and stuff like that, pero parang mas pinili kong magluto with sina Kuya Joey, my dad, my uncle, Chef Rox. So yun, mas na-enjoy namin yung experience na-enjoy ko yung experience na to as like I think 11 or 12 na ako nito.
In other words, hindi pinipilit sa inyo yung ito yung traditional, sundin nyo to. There was always that discovery, adventure, experimentation.
Mm-mm.
Si Paeng would always be enjoying those things na yung trial and error, testing ng mga recipes. We were so lucky, no? Kami yung taga-taste din. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Galing.
Next.
So, ito
Saan
rin,
to?
so this was the 15th anniversary naman of North Park. Actually, like I shared this one because it's a memorable moment also for me, because I guess this was the first time I got to join sa anniversary. Like this was the memorable one for me kasi we had bowling, and then actually this, if you can see this painting, it's not so clear kasi it's actually parang it's a blank canvas, but now that's actually hung up in our office. So lahat ng handprints namin then andyan. So ayan si Ama, si Angkong, my mom, my dad, me. So andyan kami lahat parang nakalagay kami ng handprint namin dun sa painting, and all our staff as well. So now punong-puno yan. Like sobrang laki na yan now, and it's parang hung sa office namin. So that was a fun memory for me, like in a way parang to get parang dito ako mas nakikilala ko yung everyone in the company, getting to meet everyone, because parang ito sa whole bonding event for everyone involved. So yeah.
Okay.
When is the anniversary of North Park?
September 6.
Wow. September 6. Okay.
So yan, once again, yan ulit me and my dad with si Chef Bob Bloomer, I think. So
yeah,
so I was able to meet him, and yun nga I guess I wanted to highlight rin my love for cooking, because parang isa siyang idol ko nung nanonood ako sa TV. Parang ang dami niyang pinupuntahan, ang dami niyang... Kasi I believe his show, if I remember correctly, he wasn't really cooking, but he was going around different places and eating. In a way similar to like how Anthony Bourdain was. So I really enjoyed how he was, like yung pinupuntahan niya and everything. So sobrang naging idol namin. And yun nga, he was a chef, and we were lucky enough to meet him at that point, at that event. So book signing pa kami and everything. So me and my dad there. So I guess yun nga, I just wanted to highlight rin my love for cooking.
okay.
Ito naman, I believe this is the last photo. So this is I guess a memorable moment for me rin, because this was actually sa Ateneo, we have a thing called junior term abroad. So this was when my family visited me when I was studying abroad. So I studied about half a year sa Germany. So I got that fortunate opportunity there, and then I was able to go around Europe so easily. And then like yun nga, parang naalala ko like our trips, parang sobrang mahal to go to Europe, especially now. Pero when I was there, parang with parang 5 euros lang makaka-travel na kami to like different cities and getting to try different food. So mas na expand yung tastes ko. If I remember correctly, this was in Lisbon. This was in Lisbon, tapos nag-photoshoot kami, me and the family. So my angkong, ama, my mom, my uncle, si Tito Gab, and then me right there in the corner. Naka-shades pa ako noon kasi antok pa ako noon. So yeah, parang, I guess yun nga, I guess I wanted to highlight here in my photos was how nag-expand rin yung culinary tastes ko, how my family was really, yun nga, we're really a food family. And talagang like,
Would you say that your culinary DNA, kayong dalawa, will be talagang Chinoy ever since you were young?
actually, Tita Nancy, like, actually for me, like, honestly, parang Chinoy talaga is what I learned from my parents, what I learned from my family.
Mm.
Parang, yung angkong ko, yung angkong ko, syempre, more of the more Chinese side na siya. So, because he came from China, so he teach us talaga, like, ito yung mga magagamit nating ingredients, and they were more unique ingredients, like star anise. Like, I don't think we use that so much in sa Filipino cooking. It's not so widespread as compared to Chinese. Parang paminsan-minsan ginagamit siya, if I remember correctly. And then we also have yung mga cinnamon bark and cinnamon for cooking, and mas ina-explain niya yun. And then my dad would kind of, syempre, like grew up in the Philippines, so mas na-explain sa akin ng Filipino cooking. And it was really like, that's what started my culinary journey. Right now, tita, I've been very, well, mahilig ako sa noodles, so obviously pasta is one of my favorite dishes as well. So, doon na ako, I guess, like my own stamp na rin is like, I'm trying to learn more cuisines. Syempre, like Chinoy will always, always, always be parang my base. That will always be my comfort, my home, where I want to stay at. And then I start like, yun nga, I guess I wanted to highlight, yun nga, sa JTA ko rin, na I got to experience new things, and I got to take in so much from other cultures, from other different types of cuisine to kind of develop my own, kumbaga, cooking style. So yeah.
So, but quick question lang. So, why not go to cooking school but go to lawyer? Mas gusto
Mm-hmm.
mo ang lawyer? O paano ba ang nangyari yun?
Well, actually, medyo funny story kung bakit gusto ko rin maging lawyer. I guess cooking for me has always been a passion, and I got scared rin kasi of going to cooking school lang. If I was gonna lose that passion. Parang, I guess like, yun nga, parang natakot ako doon. Like cooking school, like I have friends who are going there and they're having so much fun. And I kind of wish I did as well, but also I don't regret being in law school kasi parang enjoy din siya. In a way, parang it's like give or take. And I always had the notion kasi if I would go to school for cooking, I'd lose the passion and I'd lose the love for it.
Oo.
And it became more of like
Sure.
more of a chore, more of like something I'm learning. And I got scared of that. So what I did na lang was really like learn on my own pace. So parang in a way, I did it more of as a hobby na passion ko rin na of course I'd get to learn also from all the chefs I'd meet. Syempre, YouTube is so easy. Like, yun nga, like, I guess what you learn is so easily accessible as well. So, YouTube, internet, sobrang andun siya. So, it was never, I guess in a way, parang nauna talaga yung love ko for cooking more than learning about cooking. And then, law na
What
rin
about
was
you?
really the choice for me.
Now, we have a question from LinkedIn, no? So Edwin Galvez asks,
Hi,
I've,
Edwin.
I've been a diner of North Park from the start,
Mhm.
especially at its Makati Avenue branch. That's a long time ago. I'm curious, how do you maintain the quality of your food over the years? And yeah, and especially, throughout the pandemic and now recession na, di ba? Parang the quality is maintained. What's and any insight?
Mariel.
Ano ba? I guess it starts from the raw ingredients, talaga how we handle it, and yung processing namin of it. Medyo, ano ba? Paano ko ba i-ano to? Medyo structurize namin the way na how it's handled from raw to what's served to the customers. Kasi if it's not that, parang medyo less of a leeway kami na parang, okay, Josh, mag-serve ka sa customer, bahala ka na kung paano mo isa-serve yan. Medyo less of that to make sure
Okay.
na everybody gets the same same experience with North Park and the food. In terms of in terms of the flasa and the syempre yan, again, everything is measured, everything is factor din yung kunwari packaging namin, how you experience it in the store should be almost the same as how you will experience it at home.
Mhm.
So, factored in yan kung kunwari si Lechon Macau, ayaw mong kumunat, paano mo siya ipe-prepare para pag uwi niya 2 hours later, okay pa yung food, ganon.
And
Medyo um, na pinlan lang lahat, ganon.
actually,
Okay.
to add to what I said earlier, yung innovation side, the innovation side sa recipes namin has never been focused on flavor. It's the number one focus really is retaining the flavor that everyone knows so well, and how then can we
Galing.
maintain that flavor? How then can we maintain that? How then can we maintain that quality to make sure that everyone gets the same quality? Parang year 1 to year 28, essentially. So we really try to keep that, that brand loyalty, that parang, oh, I'm craving for North Park, pero if you go to the branch and don't get that same flavor, syempre, like, we absolutely avoid that. Like, kailangan, whenever you crave for it, you will get what you want, no matter where you get it. So, take out man yan, delivery man yan, kumain man kayo sa branch, you'll get the same exact thing every time. And that's
As
how we...
managers, how do you manage to visit all the 40 branches? And then
Ano ba? Yeah, yung 40 branches ba franchise or company owned lahat? Paano ba? And
All company owned. Wala pa kami franchise.
wow. Wow. Parang Mary Grace.
Yeah.
All company owned.
pero malaki ang operation
Pero mas
pa.
malaki ng 40. O nga no. This is
Not only that,
amazing.
I think ilan ang menu items nyo on that average? Mga 40, 30, 50?
Super, parang 100, 200.
We have a very, very...
Marami na.
Grabe. Yeah.
Mahirap
Ano
ka
question mo
magtanggal.
Punong-puno
Ano yan?
na yung
Do you travel?
mat namin.
Mm-mm.
Do you go to the branches? Do you show
Yep.
yourself? Kasi hindi ko important yun. Visibility nyo.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm. Actually, we have a family thing pag Sundays. Sunday lunch namin, we go to North Park, like random North Parks lang, and then we make sure that we get to talk to the staff. We order, like me, Angko, at si Mariel from time to time. We really just like whenever we're all available, we'd go to a North Park branch. Doon kami magfa-family lunch, and then we get to talk to people. So just to ensure, of course, quality is there. Ensure that guests are well served, and when we're there, we make sure that maayos, and everyone gets the same exact North Park that you want. So ayun, so that's how we really check on it as a family. I think for the management side, they have their own thing as well. So,
What happened during the pandemic?
Yeah, oo. Did it affect you? O mas lumakas ang North Park during the pandemic?
Okay. Siyempre affected. Affected ng malala nung siyempre na lockdown lahat, ganyan. Even our employees nahirapan pumasok. We had to stop operation for some of our stores, like temporary stop kasi parang walang tatao or the stocks couldn't get through. Thankfully, we had our own delivery service. Delivery, ang tawag? Fleet delivery.
You own your delivery service? Okay.
Yes. So, parang kahit naka-lockdown yung mga tao, mas sa delivery na lang yung service namin nun. Until siguro mga from the time na nagsara lahat, di ba parang, I think it was March of 2020. The day after na-declare yung lockdown, we had 1 or 2 stores lang na nag-ooperate across.
Wow.
And then, that one was in Makati. Ngayon, kung may pumasok na order, kahit sabihin mong Valenzuela yung order, okay, sige, from Makati ang order mo to Valenzuela.
I remember talaga there were times ginising ako ni Mami. Paggising sa akin, Josh, parang kailangan nata ng driver ngayon or rider ngayon sa delivery. So, naalala ko yun, parang pumunta ako mismo to the store. Ako nagde-deliver personally ng mga orders nila. So, yun. So, we had to make sure that, we were able to help out as much as we can. And, syempre, get the food out there.
Yes. After, siguro it took us mga 3-4 months to get all the stores back in operation. Thankfully, parang the restrictions were not as rigorous kasi food eh. So
Oo,
parang
dahil
okay,
sa food.
you can operate, you can deliver, ganyan.
Mhm.
Pero syempre, hirap pa rin kahit all the stores were operational. Syempre, lahat ng tao takot lumabas.
Mhm.
Lahat ng tao hindi makalabas for that matter.
Mhm.
Until basta when the restrictions were lowered, nag I think na-affect din kami nung, like, na-affect kami in a positive way nung revenge spending nung tao. Siyempre, cooped up ka sa bahay mo for so long. So, parang, sige, lalabas ako, kakain ako, order ako nito. Ito, gagawin ko. So, parang kami, okay, welcome. Go, pasok na kayo.
Very good. So,
Galing.
is it easier for you to talk to the olds, or you still communicate with Uncle and Ama about the business, or kayo-kayo na lang?
We still
Yeah.
talk, we still,
I mean,
included
wait,
pa rin.
you
Yeah.
consult with them pa rin? You consult with them?
Yes,
Of course.
yes.
Yeah.
Alright.
Si Angkong talaga yung, kumbaga, he's our, sa succession sa Godfather nga, he's our Vito Corleone talaga.
Yeah.
Para
Oo.
respeto kami sa kanya, and then yun nga, syempre I go to visit him every so often, and he really gives a lot of great advice. So even until now, like with
He's super involved pa
Yeah.
rin.
like
Wow, ganun.
tatawagin lang, and yun nga si Akong, like and he's actually not so far from our office as well, so we can go visit him as easy as we can, and whenever we need help, he's always there to guide us. Even like for me, parang like I had like mga entrepreneurship parang projects in Ateneo, he would really like be hands-on with his advice, and then he'd show me how to do it, and like super hands-on talaga ni Angkong, so he'd really help us out. And
How
Ama
old
as
is he
well, of
now?
course.
How old?
He's about 90s na rin. About 90s na rin. But yeah, lakas pa rin.
Wow.
He's still there. Like, nanonood pa rin. Like, yung mga sinashare ko sa YouTube, nanonood na rin siya. So, yun. Netflix na rin siya. So, yun.
Wow, galing.
Anton, the father,
Yeah.
their lolo, si David Tan, we call him, is a master chef. Talagang he was, yeah,
Master.
he's a master Chinese chef.
Pero Nancy, quick question lang, no? Technical question. Is Chinoy considered a cuisine na ba as a separate from the parang
Yes.
Chinese variation?
Yes.
Parang ganun.
Yes. Oh.
And in the Philippines, marami bang nag-Chinoy cuisine?
I guess, marami. Yeah. Ikaw, Mariel, ikaw, you
Kinda interesting kasi parang I know you guys embrace that Chinoy culture and the food. And for me, ganun rin eh. Ayun rin nga eh. And it's just interesting na you're probably one of the older. Kasi marami na rin nag-close eh. Marami na nag-close.
Well, pag sinabi mong Chinoy, let's talk about the basic soup stock. Yung kung baga Chinese, talagang meron dating na may mga
Yeah.
spices.
Yes.
Na you would not like to have that in a in a Pinoy spice, like yung star anise, hindi malakas, di ba? Hindi malakas ang dating.
Mhm.
Or
There's a
yung
lot
mga,
of differences talaga.
I think ang connecting, pinaka-connecting is yung sesame oil eh. Yun.
Yes.
Yun. But so there's a combination na less of the spices and more of siguro patis or toyo. So yun. Yun ang
Actually, I actually wrote a paper before, just to like ulitin ko lang yung love ko of food. Kailangan ko i-put it out there. But yeah, I actually wrote a paper about well, actually I wrote like 2 papers about cooking. So my actual final thesis for law was related to cooking, as well as my parang high school thesis na rin. We had something like that.
Galing ah.
So mine was actually the influence of Chinese cuisine here in the Philippines and how it kind of transformed into Chinoy. So one of actually my angkong, sinabi rin niya, very important thing, sa Chinese cooking mas more on like the cook itself of the chicken, for example, or the parang the flavor of, like, for example, sa sweet and sour pork, it's not about the crunch, it's about the taste lang of like that sour, that sweetness. So talagang kailangan punch in your face flavor siya. Versus sa Filipino na it kind of reiterates the same thing but more of, syempre, kailangan mas may crunch siya, mas may texture, there's more texture involved.
Mm.
In Chinese cuisine, it's more of that, like, just that flavor. And then in the Filipino side naman, may dagdag na, syempre, sa cooking style, sa texture of the texture of the meat itself. So mas may crunch, mas may ganon. Yun nga, there's a lot of like differences as well. And I guess right now, much more makikita because of the influx as well of like traditional Chinese food. Like yung, like the Sichuan style. So mas napapakita yan now. So I guess mas naha-highlight yung like mas naha-highlight yung pagiging Chinoy versus pagiging Chinese.
You're not
So-
thinking of putting Korean items in your menu? Yun ang popular.
Wala,
Ah.
Chinese. Wala.
Wala. Although our last name sounds very Korean.
Matagal na sinasabing Koreano daw
Oo
ako.
nga.
but
Soon.
Chinese.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Proud
kasi
Chinese.
sometimes
Proud Chinese.
that's where bumababa na yung quality na ano nyo pag masyado na kayong pumasok na sa marami. There's a
Mhm.
certain how do you call that? There's a certain core na dapat
Mhm.
hindi nyo mawawala.
Yes.
Diba?
And also,
Wow.
the next thing I'd like to add, if we start serving Korean food, how then can it feel like a Chinese Chinoy home? Parang
Oo,
if you serve
hindi
Korean
pwede.
food, it's popular, but like
Di
how can
magbukas pa kayo ng branches. Sige pa.
Edwin said, "Hi, Miss Nancy Anton. Good to see you here." Yeah, this is so interesting. Actually, so interesting talaga, and how young yet full of wisdom this guy. Correct. And that's why we're doing these conversations to to inspire other people. A lot of people be watching this in replay. Any final question, Nancy? 1 hour na pala. Ang bilis ng ano na.
Oo nga eh.
Bilis.
Okay, we cannot avoid but ask this. Conflicts. How do you manage conflicts? Don't tell me that there's your business is so perfect that there will not be any or challenges. How is that? Do you discuss as a group, as a team each and every time, or are you given room to decide on your own and then be responsible for that?
Okay.
I think up to a certain extent, parang you can make your own decisions and parang as long as you're accountable for it. But when it comes to the bigger decisions, it's usually parang magharap-harap tayo, dali ilabas mo na lahat ng kailangan mo sabihin para ma-resolve natin ano ba talaga yung like kunwari sabihin ko, kunwari kaming dalawa, Josh, ayaw ko tong ganito. So at least medyo parang I have to lay out what I like and what I don't like. And then I have also to be constructive about it. Hindi pwedeng parang, ayaw ko to kasi si Josh yung may gawa. Yung gano'n. Parang hindi pwedeng gano'n.
Yep.
You have to base your arguments on what it really is.
I guess to add in, like how we really, like yun nga, I guess how you solve conflicts, kumbaga like in like kunyari in married life and stuff like that, like it's really through discourse, it's really through discussion, it's never through kumbaga magsasagutan kayo. It's really like, this is what I want, this is parang here, this is what I'm laying down everything on the table, and then they lay down everything on the table. So okay, ito align tayo dito tayo nagkakagulo. Okay, so why are we having that like gulo here? Parang bakit? And then yun nga, so we always respect each other's time to talk, each other's kumbaga space. So we really make sure that everyone's yun nga, like how conflict is really settled in our family, as well as like how we want it to be in Northwark as well, is really through like yun nga, everyone has a voice, everyone's allowed to talk, everyone has that responsibility as well. So just yun nga, own up, be accountable, but it doesn't mean just because you made a mistake masama ka ng tao. It means you messed up, tao naman tayo. we'll just move on and then we'll work together. How do we make it better, diba?
I
Question.
think,
Ano,
yes.
Mariel, nakakabakasyon pa ba kayo o you're really tied up na ano ba? Do
Meron
you
naman,
still
meron naman.
enjoy your lives?
Meron naman, may vacation ano pa rin.
Mhm.
We still do vacations regularly kasi nakakabuang pag hindi.
Mhm.
Pero I think it's part lang na parang syempre because the restaurant is open 24 hours a day. Kunwari, kahit nasa labas ka, or parang you still have to keep that in mind. So pag may urgent, medyo kailangan mo pa rin i-tweak yung schedule mo to accommodate whatever it is. Ganyan. When I started like really working with the company, medyo weird yung mga parang, kasi kunwari, may scheduled repairs kami, ganyan. Syempre, the repairs have to happen at the time na hindi nag-ooperate yung store, walang customers, ganyan. So sometimes I get calls na parang 3, 4 in the morning na parang, syempre bago kung, yung first time ko ma-experience, parang, huh?
Well,
Okay.
But yun, but yeah, vacations pa rin, syempre, I think kailangan din yun eh.
if like yun nga, my own personal experience about it also. Vacation ng family ko, parang there would still be times na, for example, they have to take calls, they have to work. And yun nga, nakita ko na rin yun. I mean, di ba my dad did say like, may quotable quote siya, hindi natutulog sa pansitan. Parang ganon. So,
The vacations are very food driven.
mhm.
So, parang hindi kami parang, sige, punta tayo dito, maganda yung view, less of that, and more of, punta tayo dito, masarap yung pagkain dito.
And then, yun nga, also, it's...
I have one more question. So you are in the third generation. O, paano, sino yung magiging next nyo? Who will follow you when you're already... Meron ba? Meron ba? Or is it going to go to a professional group already after you?
Oh,
Parang too early pa dito.
and tita...
Too early.
Bakit? Na kayo nga, mga 4 years old, 6 years old, exposed na kayo eh.
Tita, kung may kasama muna kami, may date muna. Wala pa eh. Kasi may date kami, pwede naman. But,
Are we putting ourselves out there?
Kasi,
single.
no, you must be about 20 years old, 30 years old. In 20 more years, you'll be, in 10 years, you'll be, you meron na dapat kayo iniisip. We're talking of succession here. Diba?
He's on it.
Mga Tita Nancy questions yan. Hindi ko matatanong yung mga ganyan.
Okay.
But, yeah, hopefully we'd like to keep it in the family. But, of course, in case meron man, our children will be the ones to decide. Similar to how our parents made us decide to want to go into it, I'd want the same as well. So, yeah.
Agree.
Okay, good.
Galing.
I want to thank Edwin personally. Edwin will call you, Edwin Galvez. I think he's been also close to the North Park people. Okay.
All right. Maraming salamat. Thank you again, Joshua and Mariel. Thank you for sharing a bit
Thank you so
of North Park story from your point of view. Really interesting, no? Because North Park is one of those that really endured, no? And ako, kahit na marami na kami nakain na kung ano-ano, we go back to North Park every time talaga. We watch theater plays or basta lahat ng mga late night cravings, mga events, lahat balik sa North Park. So, congratulations. And, it's great to know why it's really a really great brand. To be proud na Chinoy, proudly Chinoy brand. For the Philippines.
Thank you.
Kasi if you take into account like the family of Anton, every member of the family would have something that he likes in North Park. That's what's important.
Diba?
Hindi yung gusto ng tatay at nanay, tapos ito masarap. Hindi eh. Everybody has his own.
Pero Nancy, I think, ang iba rin kasi North Park, like, nag-attend na kami ng wedding. Busog na kami. kumain ka ng dinner. Pero magno-North Park ka. Tapos pag nag-North Park ka, minsan sasabihin ko minsan, ano lang, hindi, ano lang tayo, soup lang tayo with konting noodle. And then mamaya, naka-order ka na ng marami kasi kita mo, mura lang pala din. Mura. Di ba? And then maubos mo, you'll end up finishing everything. So I think there's a magic in that. And
You said
and
the word magic. I think that word is important.
Thank you.
And congratulations for everybody watching on replay. Please like and share this video. Share in the comment section. This is really a wonderful discussion, and maybe we can revisit it in the years to come. It would be interesting to see how North Park progresses. Congratulations again. Thanks,
Thank
John.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Live an awesome life, guys. And
God's
God is
Uncle, Ama, Gabby, Jenny, and everybody else.
yes. And of course, your dad will be proud of you guys.
Yes.
Maraming
Thank you.
salamat.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Share,
Can
share.
you do a short clip?